Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight, as well as on the weather page of KTALnews.com. Each article that I write each day on the weather page, this also is down towards the end of the article, so just keep that in mind if you want to view it from the weather page. And also, I've gotten in the habit of recording these live updates, and I will post those on those articles as soon as I'm done. So if you miss it one night, just go to the weather page and click on the article at the top of the page, and you'll see what I've recorded that night in case you want a longer range view of what's ahead as opposed to what's in the article. Meantime, we did see a very nice day of weather across the Arklatex today with lots of sunshine. Temperatures climbed into the mid to upper 70s. You can see the nice conclusion to the day. This is my favorite time lapse that I've seen so far out of Coshada, Louisiana. Just a few clouds making for a decent sunset in that particular area. Let's see if the sunset is done in Marshall. No, this is from this afternoon, and you can see that mix of clouds and sunshine. Quite a few more clouds as we were in the warmth of the afternoon across a good chunk of the Arklatex. And coming up tonight, I'm going to be talking about the continuation of our relatively quiet weather pattern. One thing we're going to have to watch two things here heading into the weekend. And I'll show you the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk just to our northwest for Friday, although model's not really too excited about showing much rain developing in that area yet. I'll show you a futurecast. The longer range version now also covers Saturday, and we're going to have to watch Saturday as well. It still appears as if the brunt of the thunderstorms will occur to the southeast of the Arklatex Saturday, and the model blend that I show each night going out 10 days still relatively dry for our area for 10 days in April, and I'll show you the latest numbers with that. And really looks like above normal temperatures for the most part here for the next week and a half. Some of the things I'll be touching on here in the next 15 to 20 minutes. If you have a question or if you have a comment, just want to say hi, Todd, that's great too. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or to say hi. In fact, it's tradition to begin the festivities with our hellos. So let's see who's tuning in tonight. Looks like a pretty good list. Gary, hello. Brian, hello. Keith, howdy, howdy. It was a gorgeous day. Too bad it's Tuesday. Why not Saturday or Sunday? Rusty, good evening. You got that right. I wish I could bottle this up. You wouldn't see me anymore if I could bottle days like this up and, share them for a reasonable fee. Anyway, Eric says it's 66 now in Colbert, Oklahoma, west of the Arklatex. Hello there, Eric. Gail says needs to dry up to mow. Working on it, Gail. I'm working on it, and you'll see the fruits of my labor, so to speak, so far anyway, as we get into things. So let's dive in. Dylan asks a good question. When do we normally see our first 90-degree day of the year? Typically, it's in the first week of May. I did go back to Shreveport records date back to the 1870s. Since that time, the average date, I believe, is May 3rd or May 4th. So we're coming up on it, and we'll see if we get any in the next couple of weeks. Chris? Hello. Oh, Santa's in Hawaii now, says Chris. And Easter Bunny's still in the carrot patch. And Chris, you missed it last night. Phoenix, when I checked before I came on, was at 98 degrees. So the race is over. Phoenix won. Hello there, Christopher, watching in Utah. Says it's nice and warm. Got to the 70s today at 6,000 feet. Man, I wish I were there, Christopher. I bet it sounds nice. Sarah, hello. Minus the snow you talked about last week. Hello there in Brooklyn, Sarah. 71 in Brooklyn. So it is warming up across a good chunk of the country. Let's dive in and take a look at the weather map here, first of all. And you can see the weather systems that will be moving across the country as we have an area of low pressure that's going to be developing here probably late tonight, tomorrow morning over the north central Gulf. It's possible that low could bring a little bit of rain to the southern edge of the Arklatex tomorrow. That feature is going to lift to the north and eventually to the north and east and take that rain with it. Sarah, you can see that you're going to stay quiet there in New York, and Christopher in Utah, looks like you have another frontal system. That disturbance that we're watching could bring you some rain probably at some point in the next couple of days. Don't know about snow. Again, my forte is not mountain meteorology since I've never really forecasted it. So there you go. That's what we're looking at through Thursday. It's switched to the longer range version of Futurecast, take you through Friday and into Saturday. And there's that system right here. This is what's going to bring us a chance for some thunderstorms Saturday. The dry line could fire something up Sunday. So as we move this forward, you can see this disturbance here moving out. And Sarah, that could bring you some rain looking ahead to the weekend. But you can see the dry line moving into the southern plains. And this would be the beginnings of any thunderstorms that try to fire up. Notice Futurecast really doesn't show a whole lot with that. So we'll see if that actually pans out. So here we are Friday night, midnight. And you can see the front starts to make more progress our way. And notice the flare-up of showers over the southeast edge of the area Saturday at noon. And what I'm going to show you when we go closer up is that that goes out farther. Futurecast goes, I believe, to 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. It does show some intensification over south and southeastern Louisiana. All right, so that goes to what I mentioned last night, that most models were showing that the brunt of the storms would develop Saturday to our southeast. So let's take a look at Futurecast. We'll march you through here up close and personal as tonight. Again, mostly clear now. We'll see a few low clouds try to form later on tonight as that low gets its act together in the Gulf of Mexico. Tomorrow, again, most of the rain south of I-20, probably south of Shreveport. Center, Manning, Natchitoches, maybe Mansfield could see a little bit of rain. That will end tomorrow evening. We'll see a partly to mostly cloudy sky tomorrow night. And then Thursday, any rain probably confined to the eastern edge of the area once again. For Shreveport tomorrow, 10% or less. A little bit higher south, a little bit lower to the north. It's not going to rain more than likely in the next couple of days in Texarkana and southwest Arkansas, northeast Texas. That's the short range version. Now let's take a look at Friday night and Saturday with the longer range version. Again, less detail on the low res version, but it kind of gets the gist of what we could be looking at. So you can see a dry Friday with a cloud sun mix. Notice a little bit of rain, but nothing too intense Friday evening. And I'll show you the SPC outlook here in a second. And you can see the rain develops right over the middle of the Arctic, but notice heading into late Saturday afternoon, the stronger thunderstorms south central Louisiana here. And that activity probably would move off towards the east. So this is what the majority of models are showing right now. So that is promising that we will avoid any significant severe weather threats the way it looks right now for at least Saturday. Again, the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk for that dry line Friday. So we'll see what once the other all the high-res models tomorrow, we might have a bit of a clue with Futurecast. So we'll see what it shows. The HR tomorrow evening at this time will go out to Friday evening. So we'll know more about if this is going to verify. Now, this was created last night after midnight. So again, somewhat dated. We'll see what transpires with this update from SPC tomorrow. So far, I'm not too concerned about severe weather for us Friday night. You can see why with the look at Futurecast there. All right, so that's what we're looking at here in the short term. Chris, especially Saturday, better chance for that car wash Saturday. Not so much Friday night, but definitely Saturday. John Mans over none temp wind. I've seen that. Christopher, always tell a story to the kids. When I was a kid, we went to Colorado Springs. It was like 90 in Colorado Springs. You could take a ride to the top of Pikes Peak, and it was in the upper 50s, I think. So that's a pretty good drop in temperatures as well as you go up. Yeah, one reason why I like the mountains, you can change, get a change in the weather just by going up. It's kind of cool, literally speaking. Let's see. Betty, hello, welcome aboard. You didn't miss too much. Not a whole lot to worry about, Betty. 65 in Brooklyn, says Sarah. Thanks, Sarah, for that update. Okay, Let's move on and go longer range here and grain of salt time. Again, this is what we look at here to go grain of salt. I say that anything past 7 days, take it with a grain of salt. Chances are it's going to change some, right? So we have our upper level disturbance down here to the south. Here's the disturbance, Christopher, that could bring you some rain. And you'll see how this plays out as I take a look at the 10-day pattern here. And here it is, 10-day pattern. So we'll skip ahead to this evening if it loads. It's thinking. I guess there's too much information for it to go get. So what's going to happen is as this moves east, there it goes, you'll see this start to lift out. So it comes north for a few days. This comes in. This is the kicker. This is what's going to kick this out. Anytime we have one of these closed lows here, we're always looking for the kicker, the next disturbance that's going to kick it out. And this is going to be the kicker. And so you can see that kicking starting to take place. And here comes that rain for you, Sarah. I missed it, Christopher, but you may have seen some precip there in Utah. And you can see what happens. This model does show some precipitation to the northwest of us Friday. Notice Saturday afternoon, all the rains to the south and east of the Arklatex down towards Chris's Way there in central Louisiana. This is going to quickly move out. A couple days of nice weather, then we might see some rain towards the last half of next week. Now this model is totally dry. A blend of the longer range models does show at least some chance Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, although be it a relatively low end chance for some rainfall. So that's what it's looking like as far as the overall pattern. And I might add, as we go back to where we are right now, look at the expanse of this big ridge here. If this upper level low weren't here, we would easily be in the 90s. I'm just saying. So reason why we've been in the 70s the last couple of days, because this thing is sitting here. That's why it was probably warmer in Kansas City today than it was here. Anyway, so I digress. Let's talk about rainfall for the next 10 days. And typically, as I mentioned last night, in April, one of the wettest parts of the year, we get 1.5 inches to 2 inches in a 10-day period. Look at these numbers, less than 1/2 inch over most of the area. So rainfall will be very limited, and these numbers are probably higher because that's where the storms might start to get going a little bit. But even then, 1/2 inch in 10 days is not a whole lot. So those of you, Gale, you need the dry out, there you go. It looks like you'll have a good chance of doing that for the most part here for the next couple of weeks. As far as temperatures, again, this is a look at the ensembles. I show these because they go out 2 weeks. They're a little bit less noisy, if you will, as far as the numbers that they show. They show the trends very well. So you can see the warming trend heading into the weekend, Friday, Saturday, probably low to middle 80s. I think I have 85 for Saturday. We cool off temporarily behind that system of Saturday as we look ahead to Sunday. And then we warm back to the 80s all next week. And notice how we end the 2-week period back up into the upper 80s. You might have seen that ridge at the end of the 10-day pattern graphic that I showed to the west of us. That's the cause of that 88. So our first, I believe this goes out to the 25th of April. So we're getting closer to our average first 90-degree day of the hot season, if you will. So that's one set of ensembles. The European ensembles, again, the daytime highs always run sometimes more than 5 degrees colder than what they should. But nonetheless, you'll see the trends illustrated if they load up. Again, my computer is somewhat slow tonight, so as I wait for them to load, let's see if I got any other comments. Gay wants to know, when does the tropics start firing up? Well, the tropical season begins June 1st. That is a clue there, Gail. But the peak of tropical season is the last half of August through September. That's really when things really get going. We can get, an occasional tropical storm go, in the early part of the season. Sometime they happen in the end of May, but usually it's the end of August and September. Hence, Katrina, 29th of August, again, late August, September's. That's because the ocean waters are typically at their warmest then. They're at their coldest in March, so we're still relatively cold compared to where they're going to be. So here the European ensembles finally decided the load, and you can see the trend here matches what I showed you with the GFS ensembles, the cool down Sunday, and notice, as I mentioned, these quite a bit cooler than the GFS ensembles, but similar trends. So what this tells me is there could be something here next Friday. Let's see if we have, hopefully it won't take 10 minutes to load this again. It might. Oh, good, it didn't. Let's see if I see the drop again. No, it doesn't. So you can see we don't have that drop here with the GFS ensembles. So end of next week, still somewhat up in the air as far as the rain is concerned. So longer range, relatively dry. I really don't see anything too ominous as far as big weather makers. And so I'm kind of hoping that the last week of April is very quiet because Josh is going to be on vacation. So anyway, so that's what it's looking like here for the next couple of weeks. So let's see. Gail, you're quite welcome. Hello there, Marnita. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. So 8:47, time to hit the forecast. So here we go, and you can see that tonight we are going to be looking at temperatures across the Arklatex that will be cooling off nicely again with a lack of clouds, where we see much fewer clouds. 49 in Texarkana tonight, 48 in the Queen, 53 in Shreveport. Probably will begin to see a few clouds after midnight in Shreveport, and especially points to the south. Tomorrow we will see a mostly cloudy sky, a bit more sun further to the north. 76 in Texarkana, quite a bit more sun at the Queen, 77 there, 78 in Shreveport. Notice a little bit cooler further to the south because you have that chance of rain. A little bit higher in Mansfield, Natchitoches, Manny, and Center. As highs tomorrow again at most locations will be in the mid to upper 70s. 10-day forecast shows that we will see again a little bit of a warm up Friday, Saturday. Notice yesterday I had 50% for Saturday as far as the rainfall chances. That's now 30%. Probably 40% Natchitoches, probably 10-20% Texarkana. All right. Really depends on Friday night if we see those storms develop. That's going to determine how much rain you get across the northwest half of the area. And then some iffy rainfall chances for the last half of next week. Some models do have 40-50%. The majority of models have much less. The model blend is kind of in the middle. So again, not set in stone as far as rain next week, but it is looking promising that we will see the warm temperatures stick around. Chris wants a dad joke. I forgot all about that. Well, you weren't here last night, Chris, to ask, so I got to do some digging there. See if I can find one. I don't think I can pronounce that right. I don't see that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, here's one. Dad joke of the night to answer Chris's. I like the drum roll. Here it is. Dad joke of the night. All right. What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? A can't opener. Oh, and on that note, folks, I will leave you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I had a couple of good questions tonight. I like answering those questions, so keep them coming. I'll be back here tomorrow night with another live update. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 on Fox or at 10 on NBC. And again, I will be back here tomorrow night with the latest on what we can expect for Friday night and possibly Saturday as far as that rain. So again, nice conversation tonight. I'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Until then, have a great Wednesday and enjoy the relatively nice weather. Good night.